Hey, that shows you right there that the
durable.
Yeah, durable is crap.
Yeah, we'll put that on the floor there.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to The Crazy Life. Today I am here with my best buddy, Chris Lester.
Not wife.
Yeah, not the wife today, even though it's The Crazy Life of Jake and wife.
Yeah.
And Chris is my best brother, but we're gonna talk about different types of guns, gas piston versus direct impingement, why we set our ARs up the way we set them with, let's say, just a magnified optic, a red dot, an LPVO, the height over bore, and then we're going to specifically talk about suppressors, why we run the specific suppressors, the different type of quick detaches, because there's all some, and let's jump into the sweetest guns you've seen in a while. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about gas piston guns. We've got the LWRC. This is a long stroke piston gun, and
this is going to be the SIG 516, and this is going to be a short stroke. If you look at it technology-wise, that's kind of what we've gone to. However, there's benefits to both. And these guys have kind of overcome some of the shortcomings of a long stroke in the sense that it's super light.
So let's go first. Big benefit of a gas gun versus a DI gun. DI gun, let's say difference. So difference, DI gun, when you pull the trigger, it's just reciprocating the bolt coming back. You get a lot of gas in your face if you're using a suppressor.
Basic concept, you have a gas tube right here at the end. Your gas comes out of it. It's regulated usually. There's an adjustment. And it will cycle your bolt carrier back just with the gas itself. These actually have a port back here that it will push a rod back and push your bolt carrier back, and then the gas escapes out. With a long stroke, that rod is continuous all the way through. A short stroke, it actually has a striker face on it where that rod just hits, and it pushes the bolt carrier back that way. So there.
Notice where the gas block starts here,
right,
versus gas block starting on here. If you put them side by side, we've got another. I don't know, Chris. That's about your size, 3 inches, I guess.
Yeah, right there, ballpark.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. About 3 inches longer on a gas gun there. I mean, from a long stroke versus short stroke.
And you'll see. I mean, these are both a full 16-inch barrel. But what you'll notice is, just in general, on this short stroke piston, it is a little thicker piece back in here, and it's because it just needs that extra room for that piece.
Whereas, perfect example on a DI gun. Let's grab this guy off the wall.
DI guns can be incredibly light because they just don't have as many moving parts.
That is one thing. So this specific one, I actually don't see any YouTube videos on this gun out there much. This is the Fierce Firearms AR15. I can't remember what it's called, like the R15 or something like that. It's got a rad name. I'll put it in here on the screen. This thing weighs absolutely nothing. However, when we run this with a suppressor, dude, it just gets so dirty. My magazines are disgusting. The bolt's disgusting. In fact, if I reciprocate the slide right now, we just shot this with a can the other day.
Yep.
It's already so gross. So if you've noticed,
in contrast, we've run about the same amount of rounds for these in the last couple of weeks,
and this is clean.
Yeah, both these. I mean,
the magazines are clean.
I mean, just silky smooth.
So on this, you'll notice it's just a standard brake now, the Fierce brake, because I told Chris, I said, you know what? The reason for this, this is just going to be a non-suppressor gun. Yeah. It just gets too dang dirty.
There's a reason for both, and I know there's going to be a lot of people that jump on really quickly and say, oh, well, the military's run DI guns for years and years. That's fine.
With cans.
Yeah, they're also pissed off most of the time because they have to clean their guns all the time, okay?
Hey, the main reason I like it, because my food tastes so much better when I'm not tasting gas the rest of the day from my
It's with everything else. Like, it's technology as it evolves, right? Why not go to something that... And I think this is the thing. Better is a relative term when what you're talking about, right? Like, what is better about it? Well, guess what? I'm not getting a bunch of stuff blown back in my face. Ultimately,
huge benefit, especially running a suppressor.
You're taking away a lot of variables that would ultimately or could ultimately come down to failure.
So perfect. Let's transition right here now. Since we got two different styles, why am I running a standard 4-power magnification versus LPVO? Why do we run specific scopes versus red dot?
For me, this is pretty much mostly my coyote gun is what I use it for, predator hunting.
16-inch barrel.
Yeah, 16-inch barrel. I still run, Surefire mount on it because that's what I run mainly for suppressors. But I like this gun because it's not super heavy. I don't have, if I got to carry it, things like that. Yeah, we'll reach out there.
What's the advantage of an LPVO versus, let's just say, just a 4-power mag?
I think it's with anything you're looking at. For one, I've got up to 6, or actually I think this one's actually an 8. This is an 8. It's a 1 to 8 power. So for me, I get a little bit more magnification, which if I'm shooting out there a little ways, The 5.56 round actually does have a lot of capabilities.
Up to 300 rounds when we're shooting Neotes, dude, your bullet drop, depending on your height over a bore, is
300 yards,
minuscule.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You're reaching out there. This is going to do really good for me. I like to be, especially with any sort of hunting, I like very clean, ethical kills. So for me, being able to see exactly where I'm going to hit at and things like that, and giving that shot the best advantages it can get to be on target where I want it to be is important to me.
LPVO sweet.
And it's not to take away from this, because truthfully, the military's used this for years and years for medium range, targets basically.
So I'll jump on the same reason why I built this specific gun. So I built this gun with similar thing in mind. This is going to be primarily my Predator gun. I like the 4 power for the simple fact that I can reach out there a little bit more. The Acog, you have to agree, has better glass than most LPVOs.
100%.
So for me, that was it. The clarity on the glass is incredible. So got a little tiny RMR on top too for them 50 yards and sooner targets as well. So I can jump onto that. But then for my magnification, I got a lot more crisp glass on top of this.
But here's the nice thing. That can't fail. Like you've got your fiber optic, you have tritium in it, which is awesome. This one, I do have a lit reticle in it, but it's battery, right?
And, nice thing with that was edged glass.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's good. The other thing that one has a huge advantage on is night vision, because you're already sitting up a little higher.
Yeah.
You have your RMR up on top, which again
works with night vision well.
Very convenient for night vision. This one, like you said, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. This is just going to give me a little bit, once I get past a certain yardage, I am going to get just a little bit better picture as far as being able to see kind of fine tuning. However, that, truthfully, I mean, it's been the military's workhorse for years and years, and it's the reason why they've used it.
It's proven. So now let's jump on things, non-magnified scopes.
Mm-hmm.
So red dots. Difference between, let's say, your standard red dot and holographic, and let's say why those are better than others.
Yeah, let's look here.
So my old school Daniel Defense that I have had forever. So this is a very special, touching piece to my heart because this is just a gun that I've had forever. One of my first ARs.
I was gonna say
and I just loved it. So Aimpoint, okay. Aimpoint is just a typical red dot. There's a lot of controversy on why Aimpoint versus Eotech, or Eotech versus Aimpoint. So let's get into that discussion real quick.
I would say you have some advantages of both, right? Like the nice thing is battery hours on that are
50,000 hours on continuous.
It's not even close. Like I'll just be honest with you, I just replaced battery on this again here just the other day, and this primarily goes in my car everywhere. I only use it every now and then. I can't remember exactly what the exact hours is on the Eotech. It's not great compared to that. However,
we can look it up here. 1,000 hour continuous hours
versus
50,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so on runtime difference, Eotech has a 1,000 consistent, so continuous runtime.
Just left it on, right?
1,000 hours.
And that's in optimal condition. See, this thing rides in my car, so it doesn't matter if it's. We've had some times this year we were 40 below zero. So
true that.
This thing sits in my car. I've got a locker in the back of my car. I keep this in with all this stuff in it.
Operating temperature -40 to 140.
I can vouch. It will go down to that. The whole gun will operate in those temperatures.
So
1,000
hours versus
50,000 hours.
Aimpoint, 50,000 hours of continuous run. That's 5 years, I believe.
That's the thing. Like that's your big difference with these two. Now,
pros and cons now. Okay, so I'm looking through a glass that is, I think, 20 mils.
Yep.
Now Aimpoints are truthfully so crisp and clear. However, where's my other?
And very light. That's the other nice thing.
Holosun though, the 515, I just bought one of those.
Yeah.
Like an Aimpoint clone. I am wicked impressed with it because it's so much cheaper. Okay, so an Aimpoint literally runs $900 to $1,200 brand new. You can find them sometimes on the used market for like $700, but still we're talking a lot of money.
Which the used market price $700 is about what the Eotech is.
Brand new.
It used to be the other, like truthfully, this used to be the most expensive there, And truthfully, it's the technology. Like you can see, there's so much more glass you can see through, but it does make it heavier.
Huge pro though to an Eotech is that the glass, such a big picture, picture. In fact, leave in the comments, what do you like better? Do you like, let's say, Aimpoint style red dot, or do you prefer Eotech and why?
Right. And we have a couple of different ones here that we'll show you here today. Like I have this Eotech, I've got an AMG on my other one.
AMG's phenomenal.
Also an awesome optic. The big thing with Eotech for me is, for one, if this front glass ever gets broken or fractured, I can still see.
Yeah, the Eotech just works, and it works in conditions that a lot of others don't work in. So
it is a little heavier, but it's heavier because it's designed to take a beating, which I do like. The other thing for me is I'm getting older, and none of us like to admit it, but it does get harder to see at night, you know?
it does.
This one for me, I wanted to optimize for night vision, and this has night vision setting on it.
Hey, look at here. We got a twin.
Yeah, little twinner.
Hey,
see?
what's on top of this?
See? Yeah.
Eotech.
A newer one, too.
I don't discriminate between the two red dots and
You can't. The thing is, if there's no reason to, there's pros to each one of them. There's ways to optimize your gun for whatever you're putting behind it, right? Like,
so purpose built then.
yeah, even just between these two, we have the same optic on, different mounts.
So why did we build these specific guns? Let's go into purpose for this specific gun. Why do we have these? Why do we both actually have the same gun? And
because you carry this one quite a bit too, don't you?
what are we running for? Yeah, this sucker rides around in the car half the time too.
Yeah.
Or the Rattler, which is the basically gen right before this.
Yeah, I mean, it's smaller, so you could call it like the little brother to
Little
it. But
brother.
truthfully, this one is because it's younger. It's like the little brother is taller. But yeah, no, I mean, I set this one up specifically because I wanted to have something in my car that if I need to be able to do like CQB type stuff, I could do.
Which versus so no magnification.
Right, so no magnification, optimized there. I also thought about it this way, especially where we live at. Like, we live, you know, in Idaho, and so not as long shots, you know, at least if we were having to get to some place or something like that. As far as a truck gun, there's no real reason for me to be shooting.
Hey, that shows you right there that the
Durable.
Yeah, durable is crap.
Yeah, we'll put that on the floor there. Okay. So anyways, so this one to me, I run a 10-inch barrel for this because this is 7.62 by 39. There's not a huge difference velocity-wise between the 10-inch, or this one I guess 11.5-inch. 11.5-inch to 16-inch for me anyways.
So maximum velocity with that.
The other thing too, I run a suppressor on this a lot. I run subsonics. I run a Surefire suppressor on this. That's why I got the war comp on it.
We're going to go through the mounts here in just a second on each different type of suppressor there.
This one was purpose-built for me personally, what I wanted. I run the Unity mount. I like that magnifier because, for one, everything tucks right down in on the rail.
Way better magnifier mount than literally anybody else.
The thing is, they're not cheap, but at the same time, it's worth the investment to get something that's going to work. Now, that's not to say that there's not other things you could get first.
Absolutely.
It really depends circumstance-wise what people are looking for. To me, this was important. I wanted to have.
But when you have a little dingleberry hanging off the side of your gun and you're coming around a wall,
right,
it'll get snagged. This inline, there's truthfully nothing better. You may have noticed height over bore on some of these guns. That Daniels, I'm going to pull that back up here real quick. This Daniels, we're rocking the Unity riser on that as well. Super tall. When I first, in fact, I told you about this.
Yeah, Jake was the one that got me into it. And I was kind of like, I've always been taught to get your face down on for a good cheek weld and things like that. But a lot of guys I'd shot around, you know, did a lot more long range shooting. And truthfully, there's differences. You can't listen to a guy that all he does is long range shooting and expect that to work all the time with like CQB and everything else. There's different reasons for everything.
So we're going to go purpose built right here, right now. Why are we running tall mounts on most of our... In fact, this gun right here is got a riser that should be here, I think, probably on Tuesday.
So this specific mount through GBRS is designed for night vision. Primarily to optimize for night vision. It's because this mount right here puts your night vision, your magnifier, or your illuminator, your IR and that up here up on this rail. I won't have this light here.
I'm gonna throw a picture, a video up right now as we're talking about it, of nods on the gun. So if we're running nods,
if you're running nods, I mean the nice thing is, for one, it's going to be substantially easier for him to get down on this because it's higher up. The other thing too is having a C-clamp right here around the front of the gun. Your illuminator and all that sits up on this rail here. It's specifically designed for that. See, this light won't be here anymore once I have my illuminator and that. I've got it ordered. I haven't got it yet. Once it sits on here, this will go away, which frees up the front of my gun, putting a lot of the weight back further, which is awesome. The other big benefit too is it makes it easier too to get down on that gun. That's where that Unity mount works too.
Check this out. I don't have a riser on this specific gun, and if I'm jumping nods on this gun right here, if for some reason this gun ever happened to be shouldered, you know, for some reason,
on accident,
this, I'm not going to be able to get up on that. I'm not going to be able to see through the optic. I'll strictly have to be using the D-ball or whatever is going to be on there.
And it's not to say that it's impossible. Like I know there's people that get on there like if you say that it's easier, you automatically are saying that it's not possible. It's not what we're saying. It's just
look at the difference though. Look how much taller this is. I mean, look where the PVS 14 is hitting already off the bat.
If I'm taking a bolt off that's 3/4 inch, I can use a 3/4 inch wrench, or I can use a crescent wrench. They both work. However, one's purposely built for it and does do it better. So
not only just nods does the higher mount help.
Right.
We were also watching this video with the SEALs or whoever's running in there.
GBRS,
Yeah, GBRS. They're wearing the plates, and when you're on the gun, on like your position you should be hitting, up on it, their plate was hanging down and people were getting shot through the top of their plate carrier. Whereas when we're jumping up to a tall mount, number one, you're facing presenting your plate.
Right.
So if you do get hit, better chance. Other thing is now, let's say I'm running my helmet, right? So I got my helmet on, and I'm on the gun down low where you'd be on your typical mount. My situational awareness is cutting off a whole bunch of view up here. Whereas if I jump up, situational awareness, I can see.
I would say for no other reason, that's the best reason. To me, it is, because it doesn't matter if you're shooting at night, day, whatever. The more you can see is the more you can do in a situation, because that's how you make decisions, is by seeing.
That's why every gun that's running up on here now, the risers come for this. You can see on the one in the back.
Right.
Super tall scalar works. We're running these tall mounts because situational awareness is better. So now, let's jump. I'm sure you guys are waiting about suppressors. What mount do we like to run? What mounts are better? Which ones do we prefer? Right. And we'll go over the different mounts on the different suppressors that we got sitting here right here.
In a perfect world, no, I'm just kidding. In a perfect world, we can just get Surefire every day.
True that.
I like their mount the best. And I'll say why. It's because to me, for one, it's already keyed. Even if it's dark, whatever, this thing is keyed where it drops into place. Like, even if I can't find it right away, it is going to drop into place. All I have to do...
Can you do that with your eyes closed?
Oh, I'm kidding. I do it right now. I do it with my eyes closed anyways. But yeah, no... I mean, it doesn't take any effort, really. Like, all I have to do is spin, hits the keyhole, done.
And it's on.
It's on. If it's hot, I've noticed this too, and we've both noticed this on our other mounts. The dead air, the chemo, is by far better than, say, at least to me, like I said, this is all opinion based, but than, say, the ASR.
Oh, yes.
Because it heat sinks better. So, heat sinking meaning that this collar's not heating up as much.
Right.
I feel like the Surefire does the best at that. I've shot several magazines in a row, continuous rounds of fire, and this thing's been hot.
Right.
Not necessarily this can, it's on my RC2, and this collar still.
The collar's nice and cool. You can
easy to get it off. Yep. Drop it in the snow, whatever you need to do. That's the nice thing about the Surefires.
I don't have a Surefire can because I have so many other like chemo mount stuff.
Right.
However, my favorite mount is still the Surefire mount.
It comes into the purpose of this video. Truthfully, we've invested a lot of money in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Not knowing, because truthfully, some of the stuff's, it's not necessarily it's new, but it's not been advertised as much on, say...
The civilian market.
The civilian market, yes. Yeah. Because this, literally, if you look at most of the Surefires, at least the ones I've been running, the 300 SPS, the RC2, the first part of that is it's the Socom RC2. It's because it's for special operations. And
the mounts the bomb. For me... What I love to run, and a pro, let's say, over the Surefire, the dead air chemo mount. Okay, so here's a dead air can. It'll time onto the brake just like the Surefire will.
Right.
And once that's timed and on, it just goes like that. However, notice how I had to go put that on. How did I have to ratchet that on?
Yeah, you had to.
I had to grab the can. Part. This is cool though with the chemo mount. Let's say this is hot. You can grab just the collar. You'd have to use a wrench. And when you pop the collar, the whole thing undoes. Right. And it will come right off. So really cool. Nonetheless, on and off, it literally is that quick. On, off. That is amazing. Now, what's a big benefit of this dead air one is this chemo mount, I can pull off and I can throw on literally any of my hub-mounted suppressors. So this specific dead air, Nomad titanium.
That's what you got to give to Surefire, to Silencerco. Silencerco came out with that hub mount, and almost everybody else, with the exception of these guys here, have used it to an extent, right? Like the chemo mount, they made sure they had a hub adapter for the chemo system, which I like the chemo adapter quite a bit.
The chemo adapter is amazing. So if you're going to jump on it and you want to be able to use, for example, Surefire, every gun that you have has to run a Surefire mount, Has to run a Surefire
proprietary.
can. You can't take this mount off of this and run it on a different can.
Right.
That's it.
The only way to get that mount, there's a way to do it. I won't say exactly how, but if you do some looking on the internet, you'll find it.
And what's the brake called?
It's called the Warden. And
Warden.
Basically machine it to where you can use that adapter as a hub adapter. But
we're talking way more money.
You're talking like $800. At that point, just buy a different suppressor.
So check this out. This specific can, Silencerco can, we have the ASR mount. The way the ASR mount works, you eventually get it on. They're a coarse thread.
Yeah.
And then this collar locks. It's tight and it's good.
And that's what we both started out with, by the way.
And they're
nothing
good.
to knock them, but
however, every can that I have right now is switching over to the chemo mount. This is what I love about the chemo mount, though. I can throw the chemo mount on this can.
Right.
So all the cans that I own, I can run a chemo mount on. Super cool. And that means I can take all my brakes and pump them to each one. Versus Surefire, even though, yes, we both agree it's a better mount, it's proprietary. You can't run off of it. So.
And there's such a wide variety of cans just in general that it's nice to be able to, because you have different reasons for different cans. Like for me, I went over to the Surefire, but I started out with the Hybrid 46, the Silencerco Hybrid 46. I like that suppressor.
Good can.
My first suppressor. I wanted to be able to use it on my Henry X and 44 mag. I want to be able to use it on, all my other stuff, pistol calibers, rifle calibers, whatever, right? It's a good first suppressor. The mount, same thing though. Started with the ASR and a 3-lug mount was the mounts I ran.
I didn't even show a 3-lug mount. I'm going to bust out a 3-lug mount here too and show you.
Yeah, 3 lugs, cool. Got to take hats off to H&K for that.
Okay, so we also have the 3-lug mount adapter, which is so cool. So this is another thing with the hub, right?
Yeah.
This is a Silencerco can. I can throw a chemo mount on it. I can throw the ASR mount on it. I have a 3-lug mount on it.
I'm really happy they did it because truthfully it makes it where you can put that on anything.
Look how cool this is. Literally push it, it's on.
Right.
Push it, it's off. So that is wicked quick. However,
the first thought that everybody's going to think is, why don't we just run only the 3-lug mount? It comes down to this.
That's what I was just going to jump on.
This mount is awesome for inside of like 50 yards.
100 yards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, it's not keyed, right? So that suppressor, depending on the suppressor,
look at
they
the
weight
motion.
different spots.
See the motion?
Yeah. It's not going to be super tight on your gun.
You'll notice most 3-lug mounts are running on
MP5s.
pistols,
yeah,
SBRs, right?
Yep. H&K ran this with the MP5 for years and years. Most of those guys that have an MP5 come standard with a 3-lug on them.
The reason why we want a timed suppressor, a suppressor that's locked on the same thread every time, is for the whip, the harmonic of your barrel.
Right.
So bullet impact shift is really what it's going to be.
When you sight in that rifle, it should be the same place every time versus a 3-lug. It doesn't take a lot to change where a bullet's going.
3-lugs are mostly running on 9mm pistols too. So I quickly talk about why we have specific suppressors. Surefire is the dominant best at signature reduction. There's no flash that comes out of the front of that can.
That's your main difference as you go between these. Silencerco, to me, is like an affordable can. A lot of people can get you in the game. And ultimately, you can do it with a lot of different rifles.
Especially Omega 36M.
Yeah, I was going to say the 36M, the hybrid 46M.
I can run that on anything from a 22 caliber all the way up to a 9mm pistol and all your 30 cal rifles in between. Hybrid 46M, same thing. Can run that all the way up to 338 Lapua on pressure. 45 caliber pistol too.
The big benefit is these guys have a 30 cal one that's modular and is still Magnum rifle rated.
And they're quiet, but let's talk about flash. At night time, boom, boom, you're getting flash. You're getting flash.
You see a lot of flash out of the Silencercos.
So if we're running at nighttime and we're trying to not be seen by the bad guys, the Yotes, whatever.
Yeah. You never know when one of them is going to come shank you or something like that. So.
Yeah, them coyotes are wild, wild boys. Yeah. You do leave quite a bit of signature there.
Right.
And let's say you have night vision on. You're going to see that it might flash out.
It's definitely going to distort it, if nothing else. I mean, that over time, that flash does disorient you.
So Surefire does the best on that. These Nomad cans, which you'll see, there's quite a few Nomads sitting here. The quietest, dude. They're just quiet.
They're very quiet.
Quiet.
They have pieces to go onto them to reduce signature. Now, it's been I've got a couple of those on some of my other dead air cans. They still never get down to quite what the Surefires can, but they're still very close.
Well, it's like one out of every, let's say, 10 rounds you're blowing a flash.
It really depends on what you're optimizing towards. This one, if you're looking for one can to be able to put on anything, you don't really care about signature reduction in that.
Right, like
Surefire, or I mean the Silencerco.
And for me, if I only have a caliber up to a 30 caliber, I would run a Nomad for the simple fact that this weighs nothing. And if you're going to direct thread it, this can's only like, I think it's 4 or 5 ounces. The mount alone is 4 ounces.
You changed my mind just there, actually. Yeah, truthfully. Like, if you're only going up to 30 cal, I would say, these ones are by far.
This is amazing for the simple fact it weighs nothing. You throw it on your gun. It's very lightweight. It's super quiet. And you can run it direct thread. You can run a mount on it, the hub mount. You can run a chemo mount. You can run the ASR mount. Literally whatever you want. You can even throw a 3-leg on this bad boy too.
Right.
So very cool, amazing can. There's different lengths, even quieter. But if you're looking in the game of battle, flash reduction, Surefire dude has it in the bag. They're amazing. You're gonna pay a little bit more.
They are heavy.
I have a KGM, which has their own proprietary quick release too, which is awesome. I just don't have it with us here. But that's a little ratcheting system too. You have your brake on your gun and it ratchets right on. Very easy. So
yeah, very similar setup to the chemo.
Get a ratcheting mount. Anyway, we appreciate you joining us on the channel here today, guys. Thanks for staying with us and talking about the way we have our rifles set up and for the reasons we have them set up. Tell us in the comments, what's your favorite optic to run on a 16-inch barrel? What's your favorite optic to run on a pistol / SBR? What favorite suppressor you got? And then if you guys have night vision, let's see this in the game. And stick with us in the future because we're going to show the night vision. We're going to show everything. And we have a lot of wild stuff on the channel, from guns to taste tests to Jesus, because we like him too. 100%. And truthfully, in the end, that's why we call it The Crazy Life.